Good morning. Hey, good morning from Scotland. It's here. It is Monday morning, but I don't know, 6 a.m. or so. But should be around midnight or so back home. But when you get up, I hope you have a great day. We're on Luke chapter 9 today, and it seems the transition has changed to the focus being on the 12 apostles, and begins by saying that Jesus has given them authority to go and to cast out demons, to cure disease, sends them out to proclaim God, the kingdom, and tells them if the place doesn't accept you to shake the dust off and go on to a new community. But then we have Herod really questioning who Jesus is, but it just, the focus on this chapter really seems to be on the disciples and this feeding of the 5,000. And, as we've mentioned, Luke is laying groundwork for these great crowds that are following Jesus. And so this crowd, 5,000 men, has gathered, and comes time for evening, and they say, the disciples come and tell Jesus, send the crowd away. For they're in a desolate place, there's nothing to eat. And Jesus tells them, you give them something to eat. So he puts the onus on the disciples. And he says, we have no more than 5 loaves and 2 fish. And Jesus multiplies that and has the disciples take the food to the crowd. So again, the focus being this miracle for the disciples. And then the confession of Christ, he meets with the disciples. Who do the crowd say I am? They answered, John the Baptist. Others say Elijah. And he turns and says, but who do you say that I am? And Peter answers, the Christ of God. So a great acknowledgement and great confession by Peter as to who Jesus is. And then this concept, he strictly charged and commanded them to tell this to no one. And that's really confusing to me. It says he'd given them power to go and proclaim the kingdom, to heal and to cure, and then he says, don't tell anybody. So I don't totally get that, except it perhaps deals with not being Christ's time yet. And then Jesus is starting to lay the groundwork that this could be hard, that following me will not be easy, and that if anyone would follow me, let them deny himself, take up their cross, and follow me. So just a reminding, or he's laying that groundwork to the disciples that this could be a hard thing, could be a challenging thing. Then the story of the transfiguration, again, strictly to Peter, John, and James, and they have a meeting with, Jesus meets with Elijah and Moses, and then God proclaims, this is my son, the chosen one, listen to him. And then again, they're told not to tell anyone. So just a hard thing. And the focus again is a great crowd gathers. So this concept of great crowds, Jesus rebukes an unclean spirit from the boy, and the crowd is starting to be astonished by God. And then Jesus talks to the disciples again and says the Son of Man is about to be delivered into the hands of men. And the disciples don't get it. So Luke is really laying the groundwork that Jesus is teaching. Jesus is really working with the disciples, but they don't understand. And then this argument over who is the greatest, and Jesus says, he who is least among you shall be the greatest. So this, again, just some upside down teaching from the world. And it ends with Jesus again emphasizing the cost of what it will be to follow him. Foxes have holes, birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. He said to someone, follow me. He says, let me go bury my Father. Jesus says, let the dead bury their dead. But as for you, go and proclaim the kingdom of God. Another says, I will follow you, Lord, but let me first say farewell to those at my home. Jesus says, no one puts his hand to the plow and looks back. Is fit. No one who does put his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God. Concluding the chapter. So we see great crowds gather. We see the focus on the disciples and working on that aspect. We see the disciples just don't get it. And that the cost, Jesus continuing to lay down to the disciples that the cost is high. And some good reminders for all of us. So we'll get to chapter 10 tomorrow. So I hope you have a great day. It's our crew is, we're in Scotland. We golfed yesterday. We're going to golf again today. 4 of our guys' clubs did not show up. One guy, his luggage has not shown up, and it still appears to be in Toronto. So we'd appreciate prayer for that. And God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow.